Hey kids, we're with the coaching couple. That'd be Annie and Jay Adkins. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Hey,
How are you?
Doing great. How you doing today?
I'm living the dream. So let's get right to it. We're going to be hanging out for half an hour, mainly talking with real estate investors who are out there listening, watching. We're going to hopefully add value to them. So right off the bat, give us one thing that you guys think will add value to an entrepreneur, a real estate investor who's got whatever, pretty good net worth, maybe $5 million net worth, and they're looking for some advice from someone like you guys, the coaching couple.
Jay, you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. I would definitely consider, expanding your investments. We have been investing in a multitude of different asset classes, so don't pigeonhole yourself into one certain type of investment.
Mm-hmm.
Good point.
I like that. That's a good start.
Yeah.
And obviously it's done well for you guys, because I know it seemed like not too long ago you guys were, just building your business. Now it's obviously a huge business. So that's a good start. So Annie, what are your thoughts about that?
I was going to say something along the lines of, don't second guess yourself either. If you have something that you want to kind of jump into, obviously do your due diligence and make sure that it makes sense, but don't be scared of something that you haven't done before, so that you don't want to dabble in something.
Yeah. We talked to a lot of clients here at vastsolutionsgroup.com, and I would say most of them are pretty aggressive in doing stuff. But I would say quite a few of them are sitting kind of waiting for the next deal. They might take, a year goes by and nothing's happened. Obviously that's a problem, but I think I agree with you. If people actually, get up and go, they're probably going to end up succeeding versus kind of watching all the traffic go by,
Right. Massive action, right? Instead of inaction. Don't what's the other guru thing? And that's paralysis, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. All right, let's talk about your guys' business specifically. Actually, before we get into your business, tell me a little bit about you two, because you guys are a cute little couple. You guys been doing real estate investing. Tell me a little bit about yourself individually.
Well, we met in high school, and we are high school sweethearts.
In the choir. Yeah. That's where we met, in choir class.
Serious? Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Cute. Very cute. Yeah.
And we went to the same college, although we didn't really go to class much, I don't think. But
interesting. Don't tell your kids that, though. Okay?
Right. Exactly. I have 3 master's degrees, actually. One in education, one in accounting, and one in business with a healthcare concentration. So none of my stuff goes with real estate, but it all kind of goes with real estate at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Holy mackerel, you're Mrs. Education. Wow. Look at you. What about you, Jay?
Well, I was a singer in college and sang in the Army band. Had a great time singing there. I also sang with a company called the Longerberger Basket Company. My day job was actually singing and dancing.
Okay. Wow. Okay. That's a huge step from real estate. But anyway, keep going.
Yes. But then I went into bartending after that. Annie and I had a number of restaurant jobs back in the day, and that was actually my last employment job. Was a Scotch and cigar bartender / bar manager there in the Scotch and cigar bar.
Wow. Okay. Wow. That's an interesting story. Mrs. Education. Mrs. Education, Mr. Bar Guy. Wow. And how long ago was it? How long ago did you guys, it seems like it was just yesterday, but how long ago did you guys go out on your own?
25 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. 25 years ago. We started with a DJ business.
Mm-hmm.
And I was singing for wedding events. Then we expanded into photography, photo booths, video. We just took one product and expanded it out into multiple products.
Which is basically what we've done with real estate now too.
Let's talk a little bit about your business, about real estate. So give us the 411 on your coaching business, because I know it sounds pretty innovative. And then later we're going to talk about a little surprise we're going to give to the viewers and listeners out there. So go ahead, please.
Cool. Well, we started our coaching business about 8 or 9 years ago. We've coached with other organizations that are out there that used to be out there. And then we decided that we kind of were splitting off on our own when things went a little awry with that company. And then a lot of our coaching students came with us from there, and we've just kind of been working with a lot of new real estate investors, some seasoned, but kind of switching up the game as to what they're investing in and what they are interested in. And then, yeah, it's going really well. It's been very, not like hugely successful, but we don't want this hugely successful business at the same time. So we have a lifestyle business is what we call it.
Yeah, we keep it smaller. That's what she means by not hugely successful.
Right. Like the coaching students are 100% successful, but yeah.
We just keep it small. We try to do normally a couple of dozen people at a time. We'd like to do a lot of one-on-one, and we got started about 20 years ago. We bought our own house, and then crazily enough, a sex offender moved in beside us, and we had no kids. We have 4 children. They were small, and at the time we had 2. We're like, we need to
do something different.
We prefer to move somewhere else. And so that's what we bought our first house, or our second house. We rented out our first house to someone else. We kept it. And as soon as I got that first rent check, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm hooked. Like, this is it. You know, we had some family members that were homeowners, but no one had ever invested really into real estate. We were the first in either one of our families to do that. And so quickly, right away, we bought one. I'm like, let's do it again. This is amazing. Like, they're going to pay off our mortgage. On top of that, we're making, you know, a little over $300 a month in cash flow. And we went to the bank, and they're like, no, you can't buy another house.
You don't debt to ratio.
Yeah, your debt to income ratio isn't good. You haven't had this rental long enough. And so we started studying about different ways to do real estate. And that's when we discovered creative deals and how to acquire properties with no banks and none of your own money.
So then we started doing that and talking to a real estate agent here locally that we went to high school with. And he had some property that he didn't really want to hold on to, his lower class neighborhoods, which was perfectly fine for us because we were newbie investors. So we acquired 5 or 6 additional rental properties that way. And then the crash hit, right? So everybody thought we were insane for getting into real estate at the time that we did. And now everybody that thought we were crazy invests with us.
You said something very interesting. It's funny, you know, at the crash when you guys started really getting involved in real estate, that's the best time to get invest in real estate. I mean, you know, buy low, sell high, but no, people want to buy the top and sell the bottom. That makes no sense to me. But you said 2 really important things, I think. For one, most of our listeners and viewers have been around for a while in real estate. Most of them are pretty well seasoned. But so it's kind of cool, frankly, that you guys work with some of the newer real estate investors who are maybe W-2s now going to the real estate world. So I love that, number one. And we could talk to that. I'd love to talk to that segment because I don't think I'd take care of them probably well enough. Number one. Number two, also you mentioned something, I think it was Jay mentioned something about you know, investing without your own money, someone else's money. So okay, let's zero in on that. Let's unpack that. How can a new investor, let's say a W-2 investor who works at Microsoft, let's say they're making $750,000 a year, that could be our prototype for a W-2 employee, who wants to get involved in real estate. So again, with no money down, what are some of your suggestions that you would have?
Well, the first thing I would suggest is driving around the neighborhood that you would like to invest in potentially, or ways that you know, a single family or apartments or whatever, and look for something that is either available to rent or for sale by owner potentially. Those are the most, the low hanging fruit, right? So potentially, it's not impossible to work with a real estate agent. We've done that as well. So that's my first thing. Just kind of figure out where you would like to invest and what you think you would like to invest in first and foremost.
Jay, thoughts?
Yeah, we have been very successful with buy, fix, and flip. And that is in a down market or an up market. The strategy is a little bit different, but there's plenty of private money and hard money lenders that's their model. They want to lend you their money. They know that they're lower risk with that type of investment because they're typically not going to invest more than 70% of whatever it's going to be worth after it's repaired. Some will go to 75, some 65, but average about 70%. So in your case, if you're buying West Coast, you might be looking at $1 million property that it's worth $1 million after it's fixed. So maybe you're going to buy it for 550, put 150 or 200,000 in it, and that lender will fund you 100% of the money to purchase that property and to rehab it.
So for your coaching clients, do you guys have a big cadre of lenders who are down with giving kind of newer investors dough? Is that one of the things you guys do? Got it.
Yep.
Let's talk about that. Okay, now let's talk about that. I think some people are going to like that. So again, let's say the avatar Microsoft dude or girl, $750,000 W-2, and they want to be a part of the coaching program. What's that like? What's the engagement like, and what can they expect from something like that?
Sure. You go first this time.
Okay.
Well, I like how you guys share. Very cute.
Yeah, we're sharing right now anyway. It could change, Kenner.
It could change anytime.
No, I think what's most important for us initially is to have a session with them to sit down and figure out what their goals are, short term and long term in the real estate investing realm. Like what is it that they're trying to achieve besides just making money?
Right.
And then we develop a blueprint around what that vision is that they want to put into place and achieve. And then we build an action plan around that so that we can help them achieve that goal as quickly as possible.
Yeah, we reverse engineer a lot of things. So like if they want to retire, then that's one plan, obviously. And it's a finite amount of time to get that accomplished. If they want to leave their job, that's other things that we've helped other students do. So
yeah,
it just depends on what their goal is for sure.
Yeah, say they're out on the West Coast and they're going to do a little bit larger flips out there. Maybe they're going to make $200,000 per flip, and they want to replace their $750,000 income. Well, that's really only one flip every quarter. It's when you break it down like that, it seems a lot more achievable. Knowing that you have a plan, you have a system in place, and then once we get that all laid out, then we're going to move forward with, okay, so how much time do you have available and how much money do you have available to put into this business? Because it is a business. It's a new business. It takes time. It takes money. And so what does that look like for them? And then we can create a marketing and sales strategy for them around that.
Yeah. And if they need to hire somebody, then we talk about that and, how to figure out what their best options are for hiring and the tests that we use to give to our people that work for us and people that work for our coaching students. We have coaching students all over the country. So it's not limited to just Ohio where we're at. And it ranges from single family people to multifamily people to house hacking and all kinds of different stuff, which is like, rooms for rent and short-term rentals, stuff like that.
Yeah,
we do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, you do. You really do. It sounds like you kind of run the whole spectrum, really. And
yeah.
Then the question is, with your background, with 3 major masters, wow, that's a lot, by the way. Do you get, because I think one was in accounting, one was business. Do you get really into the weeds and help the people to analyze properties to make sure that, this one will work versus this one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And we really kind of, especially in our area, obviously we kind of do, deep dives into the great areas that are strictly rentals, the areas that are, for flipping or stuff like that, buy and holds. Cause all across the country, there's different areas and neighborhoods that work for certain investments and certain ones don't in those areas or as well anyway. So we really kind of push our students to make sure that they know exactly what area that they're looking at and down to the finishes too. So if it's a fix and flip area, are they using granite? Are they using quartz? Are they using stuff that you can buy at Home Depot? Are they, customizing anything? So
Yeah, and analyzing the neighborhood. It's very easy to coach people anywhere in the US now with the advancement of AI and all of the software tools. We can easily go in and determine, like, is this a good flip property, number one, and is this a good flip neighborhood, number two, for that instance. Like, you don't want to flip a house that has 80% rentals in that neighborhood. That's not where somebody wants to go and buy. They're trying to get out of there.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I get it. Wow. By the way, I'm glad you mentioned AI, because we've been, as I think you guys both know, we've been doing AI for years. 2018 is when we started with our own model. And that's how we've lowered so much tax liability for entrepreneurs. So that's awesome. You guys use AI. So like, and how, let's go, if we can unpack that a little bit. So what's that like? So, because again, you guys work with people from beginning all the way to, I mean, you guys work all along the spectrum, but it sounds like mainly kind of newer investors. So like, how do you use AI to do so, to, do a flip, or to do, whatever, a long-term hold? How, in what way are you using artificial intelligence?
It helps you build scopes of work for your jobs. It helps you build budgets quickly. It condenses your time down to almost nothing. It's like an additional, like, executive on your team.
Yeah, we use it for marketing stuff too. Sorry, go ahead.
No,
you do?
fine.
Yeah.
That works 24/7. As long as you're asking the right questions.
Yeah, the prompts. I mean, I mean, it's now looking back, like, what did we do before for us, 2018? I mean, it's crazy to think about the world without artificial intelligence. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you had to have a copywriter, you know what I mean? Somebody that knew how to word things and make it catchy and make sense, and not, it's crazy what it can do now, for sure.
Yeah. So, all right. So tell me a little bit more about another real estate tip that can add value to, again, now in this case, a real estate investor who might be a little bit more seasoned, maybe they have 2 or 3 rentals and they want to take the step to whatever, 10 rentals or 10 rentals, let's say.
Sure. Well, it's just a matter of opportunity and finding those opportunities. So you have to talk about what you do, right? Like, talk to people. If you know somebody that's selling their house, maybe they know somebody else that's selling their house. Maybe they are willing to do owner financing if they're in a position that they could do that for a while. Whatever the case may be, we added 24 rentals to our portfolio in 1 year. So
nice.
I'm sure that, if we can do it, we can help everybody else do it, kind of thing. So
yeah, they may want to consider buying a multi-unit at that point if they're trying to accelerate quickly. Or if they're doing single families, I would, if we were coaching them, we would recommend that they start purchasing lists of distressed properties. So you're looking at tax liens, you're looking at probate, foreclosures. I think you're going to see more short sales coming around
for sure.
In the next year or two.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So that's a great opportunity. Those are the ones where you're going to get really great margins, and you're not necessarily competing with everyone on the MLS for a deal that is still overpriced because they still have the COVID 2020 price tag on their property.
Right. We use social media a lot too, just making generic posts on our own. We have some VAs making some posts just to get the conversation going. And then once that starts, all kinds of people chime in.
Yeah, that's the important part. So wait a minute, 24. Let's talk about that. 24 properties. That's a lot of properties. I mean, obviously that's a lot of properties. So what was that like? I mean, for one, how did you do it? And then 2, what was it like?
Well, our coaching students were complaining that they couldn't find any deals. So
that was a mistake.
Jay was like, there's deals. Yeah. He's like, I'll show you exactly how I get deals done. So 2 of them, in all fairness, were multifamily. So we
got
had
it.
an 8 unit and a 9 unit, but we still added.
Yeah, so we added 17 there, and then we added 7 single family homes at the same time.
Okay, so the apartment building, how did you finance? But hold on, let me back up. So we revolutionize.com, we do commercial property finance. We finance, commercial buildings, by the way. But like, how did you put together the financing for that? Because especially if you did it with no money out of pocket, that's killer. But you probably didn't. But how did you finance that?
Yeah, so the first one was a unique creative deal that we mentioned, and it was an owner that own the property. It was run down. It was looking bad on the outside. We contacted the owner, like, hey, what's going on with your property? Do you need help? Like, how can we help serve you with this project you have? And we discovered that it was, number one, it's under rented. So the rents were almost 30% below market value for the area. And this is also a business professional that runs their own business and just doesn't have the extra time, the bandwidth, or the desire to sharpen their skills as a property purchaser or a landlord. So just not a good landlord, basically. Right?
Yeah, he didn't know where the leases were, or if there were leases, or how much rent. What, like, he knew very little about his own property.
Yeah. Ooh.
And then we found out half of them were vacant as well. And so on that deal, what we did was we developed a partnership on it, and the partnership was we will rehab these units, we'll raise rents, we'll bring the property up in value, and then we will own it together. So we ended up owning that property together.
So yeah, the property's in a trust that both of our LLCs own, and then we manage and upkeep and do all of the construction stuff, and he basically just collects a check, which is fine.
Which is perfect for everyone, because you guys didn't invest much money per se. Yeah. And then he obviously had the building. He was what I call a don't wanter. So you're adding value to him, and then I got you. Okay, now I got and stuff like that. Would you work with students in that respect? Okay, that's one of the things.
Oh, most definitely. And we didn't have, like, that one took about $75,000 to fix it up. We didn't want to put all of our own money in there. We didn't have all of that at that point in time. But we have a large rental portfolio that had a lot of equity. So we just took a second loan on one of our rental properties and then used that money to then restore the other one.
And I bet you it's now worth a lot more. So you can pull money out. I assume you can pull money out of that one.
Yeah,
it's worth double now.
Oh, wow. Now we're talking.
And they actually...
Hey, kids, did you hear that? Let's go with the numbers. You don't have to go with the exact numbers, but let's go. Okay. So how much, if you don't mind me asking, how much did you, what was the value of it if you would have bought it? I know it's not, this is going to be a hard question, but if you would have bought it.
About 3 to 325.
So let's say 300 for my math, because I'm not very smart.
So
$75,000 to fix it up. You probably had a pig. You had to put cool little makeup on the pig, right?
Exactly.
So are you telling me thereafter it was worth around 600, again being generic, 600,000?
On
every bit of it
on the low end.
Okay. So everyone out there, do you guys hear that? I mean the math is pretty simple. You've made money on that. Then the question is, how long did that take? That's an important question.
That took us about 4 months.
I was going to say
4 months to rehab the 4 units and get them filled. And we raised rents for everyone except one fixed income little old lady that, we didn't want to kick her out because she can't afford any more for rent.
You guys have a heart. I like that. So, so that's a really good story. I would lead with that story, because what I always try to do is kind of close with a great example of what, some of I call you guys podcast partners, what a podcast partner has done to add value. For not only their own wallet, but also potentially for students. And that's a great example. A huge example. Almost doubling your money per se in 4 months time. I know it's not apples to apples, but that's a killer story.
For sure.
And then we increased the cash flow about $5,000 a month.
No. So your ROI is pretty, it's huge, because it's not like you guys put in a bunch of money.
Right.
So if you think about, if we borrowed $75,000 and it's typical, a private money or a hard money lender is going to want 15%. If they're in a second lien position, it's more risky for them. Still equity, right? We're not going to exceed the 70% still. But if our payment's $750 and we just increase rents 5,000 and we're giving the owner half. We just invested $750 a month to gain back $2,500 a month.
That's exactly right. So it's no money out of pocket per se,
Right,
kind of,
right.
and then more money goes into your pocket as a result of the deal.
Yeah.
And obviously, we haven't even talked about future appreciation where that
Right.
potentially is even better. And also leveraging that property down the road, you can leverage it even more so.
Yeah. And then we took one unit. After we stabilized them, we took the smallest unit. I'm not kidding. It's like 500 square feet. It's like a little tiny home apartment. We switched that to Airbnb. It's right across from a lake here in Ohio. And there's not a lot of lakes in Ohio, so that's a pretty valuable location. And we were only getting $475 a month for rent on that place. We were already paying water and trash. So we took on the electric bill as well as internet and Airbnb'd it. And now we're collecting $1,200 a month rent on the Airbnb.
That shows
It's
the value of
crazy.
what you guys are doing. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty
it's
impressive.
it's such a small space. Like the bedroom doesn't even have a window, so it's not technically legally a bedroom. But
Yeah.
so it's like a studio, but it's literally right across the street from the lake. They can go down and walk along the lake, and it's been rented like crazy since we flipped it. So I was shocked that it's doing as well as it is.
Nice work. Yeah, I'm sure your checking account isn't shocked when the money goes in there. You know what I mean? Wow, nice work. So, I promised something at the end. Why don't you go ahead and talk about your book and maybe a little bit about your coaching program, how people could get a hold of you guys. First, actually, why don't we do it in reverse? How do people get a hold of you two?
Well, we are on Facebook and Instagram and all of the social media stuff, but we also have a website, jayannieadkins.com.
And how do we spell that?
JAY and ANNIE Adkins ADKINS.com.
Awesome. I appreciate that. And then what about, tell us a little bit about your coaching program.
Like I said earlier, we have coaching students all over the country. We have a small group that we do weekly calls with. We have a Facebook group as well. So there's a lot of interaction opportunities. We can talk about it online. We can talk about it on the phone. It's a small buy-in comparatively to a lot of coaching programs. It's not cheap, but it's not expensive.
Hold on, what does that mean? When I hear buy-in, that could be $1 or that could be $1 billion. Well, everything's relative. How much is the buy-in?
It's $10,000 to buy in.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And then we coach people for a year with that. That's enough time for them to get their feet wet, get their knowledge base going, and hopefully get multiple deals done, at least one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we're hoping that people will do multiple deals, and then they can continue. We have a lot of people that stay 3 or 4 years, and then they'll usually go off on their own and do their own thing after that.
Yep.
I gotcha. And again, they go to jayannieadkins.com.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have stories like what you just mentioned about earlier, putting in 300 or really 75,000, but let's just say it's zero because kind of it is zero, then it go into 600 and something $1,000. I'm sure you're going to get some people are going to be interested in such a thing. So you're doing something right. Nice work. So, all right, we saved something till the end. You want to mention something about the book, and I'll throw out a little bit at the end.
We wrote a book. It was an Amazon bestseller. It went up against Khloe Kardashian at the same day, and we beat her that day.
Are you serious? Did you really?
Yeah.
I'm talking royalty, basically. Nice work.
Right? Yeah. So, it's about vision, and we wrote in our story. So we wrote the majority of it, and then we have a few guest authors that are a little chapter here and there about what they went through. It's all about real estate and vision for your life and
overcoming adversity. Like there's multiple stories in the book about people who have overcome major challenges in their life and how they overcame that and came out better on the other side.
Wow. So it's not only real estate. I mean, it sounds like it's a really good read. It sounds like.
Yeah. It's called Vision Focused Life. It's on Amazon.
And it's by the two of you guys, or how do we find it?
Yeah, it's Jay and Annie. It actually comes up under Jay Adkins more than Jay and Annie Adkins.
I don't know if that's
for whatever reason.
Jay shouldn't have done it that way.
Yes.
But
Yes.
yeah, it's available. I think Kindle actually has a version of it too, or at least
Yeah,
we
it
did
does.
last time
It
I
does.
checked last week. So
No Audible. Sorry, guys.
no
No Audible.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Kindle and paperback. So.
But if you want to call me at night, I'll read it to you. If you're having trouble sleeping,
That was
just
really
give me a
good.
call.
You know what we're gonna do? You know what we're gonna do for everyone who's listening, watching this, up to whatever while supplies last. I'm gonna they email info@vastsolutionsgroup.com, info@vastsolutionsgroup.com. They want a copy of the book. I will order one, and you guys send it to them, and I'll even pay shipping and handling or whatever the case is, or however we do that through Amazon. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is I will buy while supplies last. A book, one of your books, and please take me up on it, because it sounds like it's going to be a value and it's going to help some of the people out there. And I guess that's our little part in trying to help the viewers and listeners out there to, hopefully make that much more money. Who knows if they can have the kind of rate of return you guys had in that apartment building, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Yeah. Again, info@vastsolutionsgroup.com. That's on behalf of me, Ken French. Any parting shots you want to do as a way to say goodbye and say thanks, etc.?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for listening in, and definitely make sure that you're hitting up Kenner for that free book.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like that. Anything to help, right?
Right.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for taking the time. You guys could be doing a lot of other things. Same with the people who are watching, listening to this. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen to Vast Voice, telling business secrets to entrepreneurs. Thanks, everybody.